it any differently if we did it all over again. Alright, let's do this then. A TVZ best of 5 to kick us off in the NA Challenger. To the bottom right hand side, our red Zerg player from Team Expert is Scarlett. To the top left hand side, our blue Terran player, it is Semper. Currently teamless, he just left Root Gaming. Just left Root Gaming the other day. So, well, let's see how his first his first performance not on a team is going to go for him here in this matchup. All of the round of 8 matches here in the WCS NA Challenge are playing at the same time. I'm not sure which other streams are covering NA right now, guys. I'm sure you can check out some more bits and pieces on the TL calendar if you would like to find more, figure out what else is happening. So some TVZ here. Obviously, we've actually seen obviously a lot of Zerg from Europe. There's the 4 Zerg players in the NA region as well, but we're obviously expecting Neeb to do pretty well. Probably, I would be surprised if he lost to No Regret, of course. No offense to No Regret. But obviously that's one non-Zerg we're probably going to see making it through to the round of 4. I mean, honestly, Semper Scarlett's a pretty interesting series. Scarlett's been doing very well lately, but Semper's always on point, and his TVZ is always very fun to watch, I feel. So there's going to be a heck of a series as well. True currently playing Puck is a pretty awesome series. And Johnson O'Massa, honestly, all of these matchups are really freaking sick, if you ask me. They're really, really cool matches. As you do see this Overlord early game moving across the map to have a little bit of a look to see what's going on. See what is happening. Command center early. We've seen a lot of players starting to wall off on the low ground here. But on this side of the map, your reactor's going to be exposed. And that's one thing that I do get a little bit kind of, you know, as a Terran player myself, I'm a little bit like, oh, please, you know, this reactor. It scares me. As these Marines are on an Overlord hunt, but they actually missed the Overlord somehow. They're going to come out once again, maybe waiting for it to come further away from the high ground. Wow, he's just not even checking to the left-hand side, so a little bit of a mistake already. A little bit of a mistake already as we do see. And now he sees it, but it's just so close to this high ground that Scarlett should be able to keep it alive. Unless Semper's going to lift up the barracks or something to use for high ground vision, very unlikely that Scarlett's going to lose this Overlord. And actually she does take the chance to start pulling it back away down the left-hand side, moving it away. Couple of Hellions on the way in. We're going to see the third hatchery from Scarlett setting up on the right-hand side. So she's just gotten to expand here very normally so far at the start of this best of 5 series. Speed coming up and a few extra drones getting built up right now as well. Ling does take the watchtower and again we get set up and rolling. 2 Hellions already going to start moving onto the map, and you can just see what sort of build Semper comes out with today, because he really is one of these players who comes through and plays this bio style. So he's not very likely. He will play hellbat attacks, he will play aggressively, but he will switch into bio afterwards. So it's always interesting to see just how he tries to do that. We see the armory actually dropping currently from Semper now. So he actually is going to go in towards those hellbats right from the get-go here in game 1. Get that aggression rolling nice and quickly. What's up, Adzi, coming in for the cheer 500 in the chat. As I mean, you have to appreciate the dedication. Dude, thank you so much for the cheer 500. Let's see some love in the chat for Adzi. Again, all in a day's work, eh? Sad thing is, guys, it's no longer my birthday. Officially in England, it's over. It's rip. I'll always remember my 24th birthday is the day we spent all day casting awesome StarCraft. 24th birthday, the first time we hit 400 subs. Thank you for the cheer 500 ads, I do appreciate it, mate. As you do see the single Zerg nibbling away at that SCV. Hellions going to push on over to the right side. Obviously, the army is pretty much ready to go. Queens will want to try and target down the medevac. How prepared for this attack is Scarlett at the moment here? This Hellbats and a few Marines going to start pushing forwards. Queen's going to start kiting back, and there's actually not even any transfuse energy right now. Scarlett's going to start losing these Queens in a moment. It's obviously going to start becoming problematic for her. She's lost 2 already in the Semper of the first attack of the game. It's starting to get quite a bit done. Starting to boost the medevac towards the drones. And we are going to see those drones really trying to make a bit of a run for it here. Medevac is going to keep on healing these Hellbats up, and is actually keeping this one very low health Hellbat alive for so very long. Finally, it looks as though it's pretty much done for. His attack will be pushed back, but Scarlett lost some mining time here. She lost some units. She had to make a lot of units and cut drones. Semper only 6 workers behind coming out of this, but of course Scarlett is droning just to the maximum, basically, to make up for a little bit of lost mining time, etc. that was caused by this attack. Liberator in the main base, though, causing even more lost mining time. Picks up a couple of kills so far, and will just unsiege away from that queen. Spore Crawler going to try and relocate to kind of just, preemptively get rid of this Spore Crawler as well here. As we are going to be seeing the few drones going down. A last starts up from Scarlett now, so she's probably looking to go in towards just the Lingbane Hydra. I mean, we're going to be seeing that again and again and again. Lots of Zerglings from Scarlett coming in towards the center of the map, and you do see the +1 vehicle weapons from Semper setting up as well right now. So +1 vehicle weapons getting set up before on the way out. He is going to play mech. He is going to be talking about Semper and all the bio he likes to play, but going to try out mech in this first game of the series. So we'll see if he's going to be able to make it work here. Pushing some Zerglings back in towards the center of the map. 2 4s. Probably going to be followed up by 2 medevacs as soon as that starport gets onto the reactor, so he can start doing a little bit of 4 dropping. We'll see if he wants to get aggressive with like a Hellbat 4 attack, which has been a very powerful way to kind of follow up in games lately for mech players. Or if he just wants to use the 4s alone and maybe the Hellbeams just elsewhere to poke around, maybe look for a run by towards the mineral lines. Try and get damage done. Liberator coming back through the top side, and just going to be seeing again those Hellions just out the front of the 3rd base, as we do see Rotron coming in from Scarlett as well. She actually cancelled away from a melee upgrade she had started originally to now go in towards missile upgrades. So missile upgrade is going to be on the board as we see the Infernal Pre-Igniter coming through. Semper's just getting set up into that blue flame nice and quickly. Make those Hellions and Hellbats as useful as possible against what is expected to be Hydras kind of quickly as well usually. I mean, we do see Hydras a lot, even if it is Roaches for now. You kind of expect Hydras to be brought in at some stage, but maybe not in this way that Scarlett's setting up this time. She's going into the Infestation Pit already, so maybe just kind of a focus on the Roach Ravager with a fast high for some Viper play. And now the Hellions picking up a few consumers at the front, and they're going to be taking down, getting some kills, and then these Hellions backing away up to the top side. Well, here come the 4s across the map, and it looks as though we are going to be seeing the Hellions will get morphed into those Hellbats. So, attack on the 4th hatchery here, and Scarlett will actually not have a lot immediately come in defending this. A couple of Liberators siege up, and oh my god, the 4th base just gets destroyed. Barely even lasts a few seconds. Liberator's going to relocate themselves. It doesn't really help against the Queens. Going to drop the 4s towards the Queens here to help out. A lot of Lings right now. Units are all over the place, actually, as we're going to be seeing these couple of Banes firing away. One more 4 getting lifted back up again. We are going to see the Roaches and Queens going to continue to fight against those Hellbats. Those Hellbats are going to keep on going down. So Hellbats cleaned out, and the 4th hatchery will get retaken. But, I mean, okay, Semper, I like the start of this, destroying the 4th base, but suddenly that fight went absolutely crazy. It didn't go too well at all, as we do see the Spire and the Hive now starting up from Scarlett. You can see the Hydra's Den starting up as well. So she is going to start going towards those Hydras in the later stage of this here. And still just this 1-4 at the front just being a little bit of a nuisance. Some Queens and Roaches moving forwards, and we are going to see the 4 just lifting up and backing away from this top side. Well, Semper continues to set up into his mech play with a lot more tank production. Already the Vikings on the way out to help with potential Vipers coming through. Scarlett here with the Spire coming up alongside the Hive is obviously looking towards Broodlords, is what would be kind of one of the first things to come to mind here. So we've got to look at this as a, okay, well, how does Semper begin dealing with Broodlords? How does he set up to deal with Broodlords in this game? Well, that's a very difficult question. So we do see those 4 Hellions going to be coming in towards the main base in the next few moments. Roaches in the center picking up a Hellion or 2. Still just the barracks floating to the top side. I mean, it's a good position. Watch just for any attacks through this top, which could come in towards the 3rd base very quickly. This just gives Semper a good idea about what is perhaps happening in that regard. The drone's going down as Hellions in the main base. 5 kills so far. Hellions getting picked off a little bit right there, so again, a trade-off there. A few drones for a few Hellions. I mean, there's a mineral jump for Semper. the more you can slow down Scarlett's worker count, the better it is. Although slowing down the worker count is not happening very quickly with 85 drones on the map. Scarlett's not worried about losing a couple here and a couple there. So we've seen these Hellions and tanks move over to the left-hand side. It's only an Overlord just blocking with quick, but Vikings will be able to deal with that pretty quickly. And the tanks sieging up to help push back the Roaches, which was set to run into this sort of location in the last couple of moments. There's a couple of Vipers again. The Hive Tech starting to come on through. The Great Aspire starts as well. It's going to be seeing the Roaches and Hydras in the middle of the map, just taking the Watchtower. There again, that Great Aspire still just coming up. Will be the one big kind of key feature here as to how Scarlett continues to approach the later stages of this game. Broodlords are going to be a big part of being able to fight against this mech army effectively. It's actually one of the things I think that town players struggle with the most right now, because if you can get up to a good kind of brood count with Corruptors as well, it's very difficult to actually get rid of the Broodlords at any stage as the mech player. You really do have to start building up those Vikings into crazy numbers, but that is what kind of Semper's already set up to do, although Scarlett already pushing forwards here well before Broodlords are going to be coming into play. Then Blinding Clouds are huge, those tanks all caught up in it. Now they're going to come out of the Blinding Clouds, but there was a couple more. A new Viper joined the fray. Now all of a sudden Scarlett's just going to start breaking through towards this third base. I mean, the tanks that are left over, it doesn't matter if they're Blinding Cloud or not, because there's just not enough of them. Two of them going down. Finally Scarlett pushed back, but massive damage done here. Resetting the tank count quite heavily. Semper going down all the way to 7 tanks there for a moment. I mean, that really gives Scarlett a lot of freedom moving forwards. It just means that Semper's not going to suddenly push forwards aggressively. And if Semper's not going to push forwards aggressively, well, you know, there you go, Scarlett. Make your Broodlords, right? You're not going to be caught off by a push or anything. Very nicely worked out here. As you're going to see those Broodlords continue to come on through. 7, 8 Broods on the way up at the moment. +3 missile attack upgrade, +1 melee. Coming on up as well at the moment. And you're not going to be seeing the Spinecrawler. I actually wonder about the Spinecrawler. I guess maybe just some static defense against Hellion run-bys, just something to clean up now and then. Just sort of seems weird, like this lone Spinecrawler here next to the main army. Obviously, this main army's not going to sit here forever. Scarlett controls this entire side of the map, and I have to say, this is very Scarlett-esque creep spread we're seeing, pushing in towards her opponent's bases as we speak, in all directions as well. It's not just one single creep highway. It is, oh, what a sick transfuse on that Viper! Oh, that forward-back creep spread, keeping that Viper alive. Beautiful play there by Scarlett. Transfuse came in at like the last possible second. Right now, Queens are actually getting rid of the Vikings, and so there just isn't really anti-air here. The 1-4 in this army at the moment goes down. The tanks have to unsiege, because otherwise they're just going to friendly fire each other. Being unsieged means that obviously Semper has no way to actually stop Scarlett's entire army just running in. But wants to try out a second time round. Will he change it up and maybe play his bio? Well, we'll find out. To the top left-hand side, our Red Zerg player from Team Expert gave it up for Scarlett. Up 1-0 in this best of 5. Bottom right-hand side of the map, our blue Terran player, it is Semper. Semper's game was going pretty well for him. It wasn't like a bad game or anything. Everything is going really well, killing the 4th base, etc. But those tanks, I mean, I think every single tank got caught in like 2 Blinding Clouds. They were just so stacked up. Really crazy just how stacked up those were. That's painful, you know, getting those all clumped up and then suddenly the highs just push through and, you know, you kill basically nothing during the fight. Obviously you clean up a few hydras afterwards, but it just creates the opportunity for Scarlett to feel so free to do what she wants and then to push forwards again after hitting Broodlords. There was never really a stage in that where Scarlett was too concerned in the later stages. Again, when she lost the 4th base, I was a bit worried. As a Scarlett fan, you know, was she... I guess she lost the 4th base, but then she cleaned up like the entire army, bar 1-4. I feel as though Semper could have done a better job in terms of getting away from that with some units. Every unit does kind of count, as we are going to see. Actually, an SCV scout here to check if it is a pool first, but it isn't. It's a hatchery first, so I mean, that's something which Semper will be happy to see. Scarlett, not a massive fan of kind of the... Scarlett definitely not a massive fan of like the earlier game sort of pools and stuff like this. Unless, I mean, it's funny because Scarlett's such a player who will go proxy hatch. She will cheesy. She will be like Ravager rushing you in the early stages of the game. But she's not the player who's gonna come in and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make like an early pool and like make a few Zerglings to kind of run after you. It's like, no, she doesn't do that at all, really. So it's kind of funny because again, she will not be afraid of proxy hatching you some games. You might even see that in this series. It is a best of 5. I'd be very surprised if, say, if Scarlett went all the way today. I'd be very surprised if she didn't take home one of these games with like a proxy hatch or something along the way. I guess it depends who she plays. I guess it depends what matchup she gets, but I think if she meets Neeb in the finals, it's going to be probably a very cheesy series. Because that's generally how her cheesy series, that's how her series against Neeb can tend to go. A lot of cheese, a lot of aggression. So we are going to be seeing the third hatchery starts up. Scarlett going to expand through the top side of the map at the moment, so going for the expansion that's a little bit further away from the natural, but some Zerg players like to play in this sort of way. Rogue was one of the players that really popularized this sort of play style. So the Queen is pulling back a little bit, and you know, the Reaper trying to get the creep human, but unsuccessfully. So Scarlett will be able to progress the creep towards this third hatch, which is going to be important. Join that up early will minimize the effect that certain harassment, etc. will have that could maybe punish the Zerg player here for being segregated or not as close to the third base as maybe they should be. Audio matches are never accurate on the description. Okay, I don't even know what that means. In the description? You mean the stream title? What do you want me to type? Scarlett vs Semper, WCS Challenge NA Playoffs? That's literally what it says. It's literally what we're casting. Maybe I misunderstand you, bro. A couple of Widow Mines here. Early game from Semper to try and apply some pressure in these early stages. So Semper looking for a way to try and deal some damage. These two Widow Mines going to be coming through the top side and towards the natural mineral line. No, pushed away by Queen. So Queen pushes this medevac away, and you know, going to see the two Widow Mines just coming up to the top. Command Center dropping down on third base, and we are going to see this game, the stim pack starting up from Semper. So changing things up a little bit here, and indeed going to try out the bio play this second game around, rather than just trying the mech twice in a row. What's up, Kashimore, coming in with the Twitch Prime sub? How you doing? Thank you for subscribing. Oh my god, how did I forget to follow the fucking medevac? I'm so terrible. 5 workers go down to the Widow Mines, guys. Sorry, that was actually terrible observing. There's literally no excuse for that, whether I'm tired or not. That is just bad. Hellions trying to dive in towards the main base, though, and these Zerglings are going to be able to clean those up at least. So as Hellions get cleaned out, we are going to see the Queens coming on through, but they weren't really necessary. Again, thank you, Catch 'em all, for the sub. Thanks for supporting the channel. So you're going to see Widow Mines coming back into play, this time just tagging the Queen. Oh, the Spore Crawler now. He gets the medevac kill there. A couple of lings going onto the Widow Mine, and, well, it's kind of exposed. Will get taken down by actually a few more lings coming on through here. Not bad. A little bit of harassment from Semper going his way, and we are now going to be seeing this medevac getting away with just one Widow Mine. Keeping the medevac alive is the most important part of this. It's nice to have an extra medevac in the fights already in the early stages. We're going to be seeing 4 extra barracks coming on into play. 1-1 upgrades coming on through here from Semper. We see the stim pack is also going to finish up in a moment or two. There's the third CC. Just moving on over to this side, we'll be landing into position, and a couple of lings, I guess, from Scarlett trying to identify what's going on. Guess the confirmation this is indeed going to be bio by seeing so many Marines here. TVZ, there's never really a reason to build a bunch of Marines to then play mech with. In TVP, it's something you can do just to help you defend early attacks. And TVZ, very few builds, I guess, lead into mech off of kind of a Marine-based opening. So, kind of just pretty much tell Scarlett what is going on in this. A couple of medevacs, a little bit of a chunk of Marines, and we'll be starting to go across the map. looking at the tank as well, and then deciding he doesn't want the tank. Semper a little bit indecisive as to what he wants to bring or not. Only 11 Marines in this first couple of medevacs. Obviously, their goal is to maybe shut down some of the creep spread. And again, I started to look at the creep spread, and I'm just like, wow, what on earth? Just all over the place already for Scarlett, up the right side, up the left side. She's just so freaking good at this creep spread, and she's always been known for it, but every time I see it, you just gotta point it out because it's so freaking crazy. I feel as though Terran players just have to feel a little bit lost against Scarlett sometimes, because where do you even begin to clean up the creep? And it's like, you know, Semper cleans up this creep here, but okay, what about all this creep that's pushing through the middle of the map? What about all this creep up here? It's so crazy from Scarlett. She just replaces it so quickly as well. Queen's in position to kind of get them back up, get the creep back up and going. So we are going to be seeing those Marines. And loading into the main base, actually a Spore Crawler is almost going to pick up a medevac kill. The Spore Crawler goes down, the Spore Crawler trying to relocate goes down too. And it just buy a little bit of time for the Zerglings to get into location. That is going to be a lift up. Semper only losing a couple of Marines in this skirmish so far. A Lurker Den is really unexpected. I mean, how often do you see a Lurker Den coming into play? Really not very often at all in ZvT, because it just isn't really a structure, which does very well against, for example, siege tanks. We see a Nidus network too, and so Scarlett's going to start showing us something a little bit funky, it seems. As we are going to be seeing those queens are coming on down and throwing down a little bit more creep spread. So just, again, replacing the creep that was being cleaned out. I mean, Semper's doing a good job of it, but again, it's not even being pushed back. It's just being kept constant, I suppose. Well, I guess it's something. You see the Marines and tanks going to be able to push their way through these rocks. Obviously opens up access to his fourth base, but also allows him to push across the map a lot more easily. And when Scarlett's third base is up here, that's generally the direction you're going to be pushing in anyways, so... Coming on up this kind of fourth to third base path, as we're going to see steering forwards, finds the queens. A lot of high energy queens as well, actually, so a lot of potential creep just getting shut down right away there, and there's double scan. Semper goes in a couple of different directions to clean out a bunch of this. 5 Lurkers on the way up, and again, that Nidus network, I'm intrigued to see whether the Nidus network comes into. A ton of Banes coming up as well as, again, the Lurkers. I wonder if Semper just doesn't see them right away. Maybe like hold position and wait until his army's on top. Could be deadly, but then of course you kind of rely on the fact that maybe the maybe the Terran player doesn't scan. In this case, it is going to be a scan, and it's going to be seeing the Bane and Hydra again ready to come forwards once again. Marines moving on in, and we are going to see the Nidus though across the map, and that's what the Lurkers are going to be used for. They're going to come into position here in the main base. We're going to do some damage. Lurkers actually going to burrow here, and we'll start targeting down that tank. That tank is going to start dropping. SCV is starting to go down. Drones are going down across the map as well, though there's dropping the main, doing some damage. His main army here, well, Scarlett's not going to engage just yet. She's content. The damage she's probably getting done from these Lurkers. Oh my god, she is murdering units as they come up the ramp. Semper is falling apart, and now Scarlett feels as though she has enough to push in towards this army. Danes are trying to run after the Marines, and going to run out of Balins here. Scarlett may have to pull back and reinforce a bit. The tank still did quite a lot, but there's a Lurker on the high ground now, which is picking off these Marines too, and oh my god. Here's me talking about how Lurkers just maybe aren't the greatest in ZvT, and I don't think they really are. I think a lot of the time they don't do that well. But in this scenario, they've done fantastically, and I guess Semper just distracted all over the place and not really being able to deal with them properly. I think in a more straight up fight, Lurkers maybe don't do the job, but as a harassment tool here, being used here and there, it's actually worked out wonderful for Scarlett. Now just, well, obviously shutting down pretty much all the production in the main. May very well get cleaned up here, as we're going to see the Liberators like pretty good counter to Lurkers actually. Hydras will try and protect, and they will get a couple of the kills. And obviously this game's kind of a little bit too far gone for Semper. Well, okay, it's not over yet, right? Because the army supplies are still somewhat even. Worker count's aren't too far behind. Especially in the last minute or so of these trades. Scarlett didn't trade brilliantly, and that really does allow Semper to come back into this just a little bit, so it's kind of nice as we do see the 12 Hydras on the way out. Just Scarlett rebuilding here, going into an infestation pit as well, opening her options for the later stages of this game. I wonder if she goes something crazy like Infestors too. Usually would just see the kind of the faster hive, as we do have the Hydra Lurker still to the top side here. A lot more Hydras continue to come out. +2 missiles, +2 melee. So much creep spreading out into the center of the map at the moment. Obviously, I hadn't made much progress compared to when we last kind of checked it, but it's still out there, and that's what's great. Gives Scarlett so much safety in front of her bases. You know, nothing comes into a Scarlett base right now without her knowing about it way in advance with a lot of time to respond. So she never gets caught off guard in any of these fights or any of these kind of harassments, unless she allows herself to miss it on the minimap, etc. So she can only have herself to blame. Medevac going to be heading in towards the main base. The counter-attack across. Lincoln's Hydras is just a lone lurker once again. Already moving up here. There's no wall up to protect anything kind of in the main base, etc. The entire army of Semper's actually pulled back to deal with this. So a lot of units coming over. The lurker will burrow in. I mean, just by the time this army gets here, so much damage is already being done. We're doing about 11 workers in the counting. Pretty much everything going down over here. These veins turn around. They actually crush a chunk of this bio. Hydras in the main base are going to get themselves an orbital in the meantime. Scarlett, 21 workers, an orbital, good amount of the bio picked off by the banelings as well. Again, it's just really wonderful play against the +3 weapon. Everything goes Scarlett's way in this one, and we do see Scarlett just getting ready to push into the fourth once again. She's continuing to just control the map, control the army movements, always kind of seeming to be one step ahead of Semper in these games. Another Viper on the way up, and Ultra's Cavern as well coming on through here. Scarlett, another chunk of units down to the south, but again, with Vipers coming up, with Ultras coming up, it's also just the continuation that we're expecting it to be. I see a couple of attacks sieging here as Semper continues to push up this right side. I mean, this has been his avenue of attack time after time after time so far. So going to be seeing the hatcheries going to start being targeted down. Some lurkers will begin to burrow. We're going to see the Banes crashing in as well, hitting quite a lot of those Marines. Run by into the natural once again. Drone's going down to a drop to the top right hand side, so Scarlett will take damage similar to what she deals, but she also is about to kill off a command center there once again, which is of course pretty deadly. And now Hydras are still pushing down this side as well. Actually, maybe Semper gets a hatchery kill here, which would be great because he hasn't really had much success in anything. Banes will roll in though, and I guess the roll is not the best. Here's a cleanup. The hatchery very low though, definitely engageable into at a later stage of all of this. Scan up here, looks as though Semper had a couple of units perhaps. They got cleaned out too. Final set of upgrades coming on through for our Zerg player. Kindness playing and the Funeral Plants along with it. Semper's going to have a bit of an anticlimactic. Crushed bio. Just looked very good, well, just playing in general so far. Thank you again, Iron Juice, again for the sub. Just before we threw it into that break. Just supporting the stream. As we have to the top left hand side, our red Zerg player. It is Team Expert Scarlett up 2-0. Bottom right hand side, the blue Terran player is Semper. If you're enjoying the stream, guys, do not forget you can hit that follow button by hitting follow. You can see when I go live again in the future. I stream regular daily StarCraft 2 here on the channel. We try and go live every single day with some sort of StarCraft content for you all. So if you're enjoying what you're hearing today, there's more of it available. Just hit the follow to see when we're going live with it all. Other than that, of course, if you want to support further, you can subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is one of the best ways to support. You also get yourself access to the replay packs. December replay pack has over 550 replays and is available if you subscribe today, featuring games from players such as Zest, Innovation, Rogue, Scarlett, Stats, Neeb, Showtime, Snoot, and more. Because you've got Twitch Prime, you can use your Twitch Prime to subscribe if you didn't use it on another stream already this month. Helps just as much as any other sub. And all of that helps me to stay as a full-time StarCraft 2 caster, streaming content producer. Don't forget, most important is for you to hit that follow button, see when we go live in the future, and just come check us out once again. Game 3 of this at the moment, and we're going to be seeing this Reaper from Semper. Sitting towards the top side. The SCV just sat here trying to delay the third base. The drone becoming an extractor, trying time again, just slowing it down and just forcing it to kind of stay hidden there. The Queen comes in to push the SCV back as the grenade will come in. And obviously just trying to keep the drone away from maybe breaking the hatch, but it will come down. Hatchery builds, and that will be that. So the third hatch comes on down here from Scarlett. A nice little dance between the players so far. Remember, winning this game means that Scarlett will qualify herself for Leipzig. And now, while we've obviously had the same deal in Europe, the difference is that for the European players, if you don't get the seeded, the paid trip to Leipzig, you're probably going to go anyway because it doesn't cost too much to attend. For some of the American players or the players in the North American Challenger, it kind of can be the difference between attending that tournament and not attending the tournament. So it really is kind of a big deal. And even if you kind of are going to go anyways because you're very confident you're going to do well, it's still a lot more expensive to go from somewhere like NA, or for example, for some of these players such as Scarlett and Puff from Korea, it's a lot more expensive to travel to Europe than from already being inside of Europe, of course. Liking on the way up here from Semper in the next couple of moments, and we are going to be seeing just a few Hellions from Semper coming up through the center of the map to see what's next, where they're going to go. Liberator on the way out in the main base as a couple of Hellions come in, and they are able to get rid of a Zerglin on the front door. And it's going to be Stimpak once again, so there we go, it's Bio for our third game of this series, getting a sign from Semper as to how he's going to play this. Also, I'm going to try and keep you guys updated in terms of scores, etc. In terms of how this event is going right now, in terms of other matches going on. Well, I guess not right now, because Hellions have picked off 6 drones already. It's a bit of an exciting moment as you're going to see those Hellions diving in towards mineral lines and actually looking for some more once again. 9 workers now killed. I think that's a pretty successful start to this game in comparison to how its previous games have gone. Scarlett is finally going to be able to clean up those Hellions. One more drone potentially going down there, but it will not in the end. 9 workers, the lost mine time. It means a good startup from Semper, but does lose every Hellion for it, which is always worth mentioning. Because those Hellions don't come for free, not with Bio, and they are your map controller game. It means that now Scarlett's creep spread will be insane for the next few moments because there's absolutely nothing to slow her down. So that's pretty crazy, as we are going to be seeing a couple of Lings continuing our way towards the bottom right-hand side. So yeah, the only results that have actually come in so far are Neeb to defeat No Regret without dropping a map. Clean and simple there, as we do see the Liberator gets 3 workers before getting taken down by the Spawn Queen combination. Yeah, No Regret eliminated here. Neeb first player to qualify for Leipzig out of NA. He's in the semi-finals now as well. Looking to see who he will play against next. Character's upgrade right now from Scarlett, the +1 melee, also starting up at the moment. He's going to come forwards and throw down a couple of crew tumors. See again, the group for Scarlett is something which you really can push forwards now, because what is there on this map to deny the creep? Well, the first 2 medevacs are coming out shortly, and as they come out, is there any Marines even? Where are these Marines? There's got to be some somewhere. There's 13 of them. I guess there's a few here. Is that really all? I guess it is. Obviously, the medevacs can lift up some of these Marines and get across the map to start dropping and cleaning up creep spread. It's going to be a very important part of this. Those 2 medevacs already coming over to the right-hand side. Looking to see where they can go and what they can get set up into. Actually going to avoid all the creep spread by coming up this right-hand direction, so that's something which will obviously not really kind of help out. And start to unload that hatchery is, well, maybe actually going to be in trouble. So maybe you're going to miss the creep, but we'll get the hatch cancel. Is she going to get there in time to cancel it? She does. Cancel comes in, and now a scan. And this creep spread is being cleaned up. So, get a bit of creep to the right hand side. Queen's missed a transfuse here. Queen's coming in and will start now to target the medevacs, but only after the Marines have loaded up. So, doesn't get the kill on that as we see the Hydra Den coming on through. Loads up 2 more medevacs. Going to keep active on the map. Keep Scarlett busy with these drops until he hits his 2T upgrades, and he can go for the larger push up through the center of the map. Generally be the goal here is Queens Nelly getting themselves the medevac kill on the far right hand side. Semper now going to continue coming up the left though, will continue to push. And again, multi-pronged aggression is the one thing that can perhaps sort of really do something here against someone like Scarlett. 1 attack at a time is never really going to do enough. You're going to have to hit multiple locations to really starts finding openings and weaknesses. Semper doesn't work so far though, gets pushed back. Now going to try hit once again on the right hand side. Scarlett's just predicting it though, already pulling things over. She's so ready for this kind of very typical move of, okay, well that didn't work, let's go back in this direction. She's very well prepared, and this time she does kill off one of those medevacs as well. And just look at that creep spread coming through the middle and continuing to push on forwards all over the place here. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. This creep continue to push on through, and I think right now, very soon here on Catalyst, we could see like the entirety of the map being covered in creep spread. I guess that's what these Marines are looking to do here. Scans to again slow it down, and Semper has been very good at it, very knowledgeable in the sense that, you know, he knows he has to do this, because if he doesn't, he probably realizes that Scarlett's going to just kind of run away with the game based on kind of information and map control alone. Obviously, it'll be cancelled there as the Marines do target it down, and you obviously will start to build in its place. Scarlett down in supply in a moment or so, for a moment or so here, but obviously the hive coming up is maybe saving up a little bit of money to start taking into all of those different bits and pieces, which she'll be looking to use over the next few minutes, such as an ultralisk cavern, adrenal glands. That sort of setup here is what she'll probably be aiming for with the hive, and that's why she has money in the bank, and perhaps not just throwing it all into units. However, as Semper pushes forwards with its 2-2 timing, it becomes very possible that he maybe abuses the fact that Scarlett doesn't have many units right here. Scarlett starts up the Vipers, so she's just setting up in a way that's going to allow her to engage this army more easily. She's not being overly greedy, she's not going to try and throw down an Ultra Cavern. She's going to have units that are going to become very useful very early in the game for her, or very soon in the game, rather than, you know, an Ultra Cavern takes about 2 or 3 minutes to kick into play because you've got to build the Ultra Cavern and Chitinous, and then you've got to get the Ultras out. The Vipers come out here immediately. As the Vipers come out, obviously they can start using blind cards pretty much as soon as we get the energy, which is pretty quickly, based on the fact that you can see those Vipers consuming buildings to build up their energy even faster than usual. Another queen gets taken down, and you're not just going to be seeing a few more creep tumors getting picked away at. I mean, obviously this push through the center has really kept the creep back in this regard, but there's still a creep down this left-hand side on both pathways, still a creep on the right-hand side down both pathways. So here we go, the Vipers are ready, and Blinding Clouds will start to drop on every single set of the siege tanks at the moment, even on the Marines as well, to stop them from being able to do too much here, and Banes are starting to do some tremendous damage. Scarlett pulls back a little bit, doesn't want to be outnumbered here when fighting those Marines with her Hydras. She cleans this up with ease. Just a beautiful engagement, just coming in, very well taken. The Blinding Clouds were where they needed to be, even the extra Blinding Cloud coming down to the south side of the Marines just messed up their AI a little bit, and maybe even helped with the Baneling connecting in there, so Scarlett takes a good fight. Now she does have the chance to start up Ultras. Chitinous plane is on the way. She's going to get to that comfortable later stage of this game. Number 3 here, which is going to potentially take it to Leipzig if she can close it out. Now, Semper's not dead yet. Don't start putting the name on his belongings, because he does have still a decent army. He still does have a 4-base economy. That fight definitely wasn't going his way, and it was the sort of fight that enables Scarlett to now just keep on teching up on this kind of Lingbane Hydra army without having to worry. And so again, it just gives her a bit of freedom to work with, and Scarlett is a scary player to play against if you're given her freedom to work with. I guess most Zerg players are, because they love that sort of situation, but Scarlett especially, because she won't miss a beat, she won't miss her mass chance macro, she will hit her inject, she will make her units, and she will not forget to tech up along the way. Tanks and Dio in the center will be starting to siege up. A queen on the left hand side will get taken down as well here. And goes down pretty quickly. Top right hand side of Medevac gets shot down by this queen, targeting it away. Again, this Bio and a couple of tanks just in the center, trying to see what potentially they can do next. Command center right in the middle of the map. I mean, Greatest Spy on the way up, so Scott's going to go straight up to Bruise behind these Ultras. Not getting aggressive with the Ultras or anything either, just getting those set up. You're going to see this army continuing up the left side, and again, Lingbane Hydra Ultra is going to be maybe getting ready to a lot of tanks, and that's where those Vipers are going to be useful once again. God, if you can imagine the Brutals coming in, those tanks are going to friendly fire so heavily. And that's going to be the Brutals one of the great things about them. They force the tanks to either unsiege or to friendly fire again and again. Let's drop to the right-hand side. Wasn't seen moving forward. The Scarlett's going to go for it. And the first blind cloud hits so many of these tanks at the same time. Semper needs to be so much more careful about stacking up the tanks. So it was a big issue in his first game as well. Parasitic bombs also came down. So actually Semper loses every medevac too. Not sure what exactly this command center was doing so far up this left side. Scarlett will not be able to punish it or anything though, because she's losing her base. She's actually going to lose 15 drones and the hatchery. So power drop by Semper gets something done here, make some progress. That's a small victory for him that will potentially keep him in the game for now. 5 broods on the way up though, I guess may keep him in the game, but if those broods attack, what does he have to fight against them? He is actually making ghosts, I guess that's his answer. Transition into the ghosts here for the later stages. A couple of queens still just targeting down, and medevac doing a little bit more damage. We're seeing the brood lords coming in towards the middle, and Wings coming forwards too, looking for us around on a couple of lords, but not finding it just yet. A lot more Banes walking in once again. We are going to see the Ultra's able to break through those rocks, and I'll open up the pathway into this sort of position down here. Brood lords are starting to fire away, and there isn't any anti-air in the game. So it's going to be super effective against them. I guess the ghosts really one of the best he kind of has for the moment, but the brood lords actually targeted down the ghosts. They wouldn't be able to get their snipes off, and I don't think it's too unrealistic that they could do that. You see the Pirates do get rid of this medevac that's dropping this base over here now. A lot of eco loss again, another 10 drones, and Abduct on a Liberator bringing it out of position. Pirates help to get rid of the plant before. There's a couple of Banes in towards the mineral line, getting a good amount of damage done. Ultras on top of Marines on the south side. That's painful. And those Broodlings are just keeping on going to town. A lot of SCVs being picked off here in return for the damage that Semper was just doing. Semper will type out the GG, give Scarlett the victory now. Scarlett will eliminate